He earned a PhD at Princeton. He warned the world about Pearl Harbor years before it happened. And he helped build a nation from the rubble of occupation. Most people have never heard his name. In 1899, Syngman Rhee was in his 20s. Korea was collapsing. The Joseon dynasty, 5 centuries old, was crumbling under the pressure of foreign powers. Japan was tightening its grip. The government was paralyzed. Rhee spoke up. He called for reform. He called for independence. And for that he was thrown into prison. Hansung Prison was not meant to produce scholars. But that is exactly what it did. For nearly 5 years Rhee read. He thought. He studied history, politics, and power, not as an academic exercise, but as a question of survival. Why do some nations disappear and others don't? During those years he also found Christian faith, a belief that would anchor him through decades of exile and uncertainty ahead. In 1904 he walked out of prison. Then he crossed the Pacific. He wasn't going to America to escape. He was going to learn the language of power. At George Washington University, in the heart of American political life, he earned his bachelor's degree in 1907. But he did not stop there. Harvard, a Master of Arts in History. 1908 he kept going. Princeton, a PhD in Political Science. 1910, a former Korean prisoner had just earned a doctorate at Princeton. But he wasn't collecting degrees. He was building an argument. For decades he watched Japan. While Western powers admired Japan's modernization, Rhee saw something they didn't want to see. Japan wasn't just modernizing. It was expanding. Korea had already been annexed in 1910, the same year Rhee received his doctorate. His country was gone, erased from the map. He kept warning anyone who would listen. In 1941 he published Japan Inside Out, arguing that Japan's imperial expansion was a direct threat to the entire Pacific, not just to Korea. Washington largely ignored him. Then came December 7, 1941. Pearl Harbor. Suddenly the book gained attention. The war ended in 1945. Japan's empire collapsed. Korea was free for the first time in 35 years. But freedom is not the same as a country. The peninsula was divided. The future was uncertain. The United States and the Soviet Union carved Korea into 2 separate zones of influence. It took 3 more years and a U.S. military administration before the Republic of Korea was formally established in 1948. Syngman Rhee became its first president. He was 73 years old. His presidency was complicated. He governed with an iron hand. He made decisions that history still debates. He was eventually forced to resign in 1960, driven out by the very citizens he had fought to liberate. That part of the story matters too. But so does this. When Korea ceased to exist as a nation, there was one man sitting in a prison cell, asking not why it fell but how it could rise again. He spent the next 50 years answering that question. Not perfectly, but relentlessly. Syngman Rhee.